Hello everyone and welcome to Retro Cars Reborn. I'm Lee, and in this week's episode we're going to be looking at the Capri 2.8 injection. Specifically, we're going to be looking at its lower inner sills. As you can see, they've now been seam sealed, and you'll have to stick with me. Not going to lie, also ranted a bit in this video, so enjoy. So you've just seen a before shot of the outer sills. There's definitely signs and evidence of repair. And it's been jacked up here at some point. You can see the dip. But I'm pretty happy with what's left of the outside. And more repairs, look. It's a shame it's no longer spot welded. So the actual issue I've got is here. See how it's been welded previously, just blobbed like folk. There you go, look. So the seam between the outer sill and the inner bit of the floor is just gone, look. There we go. There's like a massive section where the VIN number is that's okay, and then the rest of it's just going, look. So the plan is to cut this inner sill piece out up to here, because you can buy an entire repair panel for this section. Because I mean, just look at that, and look at that for a repair. Amazing. So yeah, so we're gonna cut this out, and then we'll see what's left. So I'm going to repair this small section first, because I don't want the floor to distort. I could cut all the way along it, but the floor could sag. So I'm going to repair this section here. So the spot welds were practically impossible to find, so there's no luck in drilling them out. So yeah, I'll repair this small section, clean it all up, weld the piece in, spot weld it back down, and then we'll have a look what it looks like. So use the handheld spot welder to spot weld the bottom part of the inner sill back in. Now I'm just going to move on to repairing this bit. And so here is the result. Literally just welded and joined that little panel that I put in, the bit that I spot welded in, just literally joined it with a line of weld all the way across, and yeah, it looks absolutely hideous, but that's what you had before. And when it's sealed, this is what it looks like. So I'm not building a show car here. I'm not trying to build it to perfect factory spec, because to get this you'd have to replace most of the floor or cut a large portion of the floor out in order to build a piece that would go into that, and you've got to join that. And I do not want to lose the integrity of this original floor, which is still here. So yeah, I'll continue down there now. We'll move on to this bit. So basically this repair is a better version of the previous one done by, well, whoever did all that. Because basically what they did was they seam welded in this piece. There's a bit of evidence of the seam welding there, look. And I'm spot welding it back in like it should be. And then basically doing the same as this here, but on a much lesser scale, so that it at least retains the original shelf look that you get along here. So there we go, that's that repair. There's a tiny hole there, I think it is. Right, I'm going to have to sort that out. So one hole, that's nice, out of all of that. There's no point in trying to repair this piece because the whole panel's got to come off because of this daft repair. And whatever the fuck that was supposed to be at the time. But yes, yeah, so there's going to be people watching this and they're going to be like, what the hell is that welding? Well, I've also had people say to me, Lee, why don't you seam weld all of your joins? And I was like, you don't seam weld cars together, because if you did, this gap here would have been seam welded from the factory, along with all of this, along with this, along with every little tiny piece you can clearly see isn't seam welded. Cars are spot welded together from the factory, and the only reason they go rotten is because of all the seams that are left. If we go for this, for instance, which is the most awfulest repair I've ever seen, it is seam welded all the way round. Now that's because in the inspection manual for an MOT it says if you put a patch repair on, which is definitely what this is, it must be seam welded. Now this does not need to be seam welded because it's spot welded along here, which is as it would have been from the factory, and then it's joined by this weld here. So it's an adequate repair. You're never going to see any of this anyway, so it doesn't matter. People who attempt to seam weld cars will find that all they're going to do is blow the metal away because it's so thin. There you go, another big seam that isn't welded, so there's no seam welding going off here in the construction of most cars, and it's like that to this day. It's literally just spot welded together. There you go, look, 1, 2, 3 spot welds all the way down that panel, and that's all that holds this on, a load of spot welds. Cars were never seam welded in the first place, whereas if Ford had actually done anything to protect these seams, then this car would have lasted a lot longer, but then they would have never made any money. But yeah, that's the only reason any of this has gone rotten, is because where its seams meet, you can see again, look, spot weld, spot weld, spot weld, spot weld, 3 spot welds there, look. And that's how cars are put together. So any welding you do to it afterwards is always an improvement. Even if it looks like this. Doesn't matter what it looks like. People don't seem to understand. Doesn't matter what it looks like. It's strong. It's not going to happen again. As long as it's protected properly afterwards, it's all good. It just looks like the underside of a car once you've chucked some seam sealer on it. Apart from this monstrosity of whoever repaired that bit before. I haven't ground it down, I'm just going to leave that there as a friendly reminder that my welding is not that bad. But yeah, just looks like the underside of the car. You gotta remember, I'm in no way a professional at doing this at all. I'm just here to show that anyone can do this if they really wanted to. You know, with a garage space, you too can have the dream. Because I dare say, with just buying this car and parts, I'm nowhere near into the amount of money that this car would be worth if I was to sell it. But that's not what this is about. This is about me buying a 2.8 injection, restoring it to the best of my abilities on a budget, because you know I ain't got thousands and thousands of pounds to take this car to be restored. That's the whole point. So yeah, if you want to continue to watch, I'll continue to do work on it. You can tell me if it's poor or bad workmanship or not. But the next thing we're going to have to tackle is this. It's just really bad in there. So that's why I stopped here. Because I can get this spot weld, drill all the spot welds out to remove all this, remove this atrocious panel, remove whatever that is. That'll be the next thing to tackle. I'm going to leave the big hole for now, because just like this only needed some small repairs across it, this needs quite a few. It's pretty much completely gone, look. And it just continues and continues. And I haven't even dug into this back bit yet. I dare say it's going to be just as bad, if not worse. It's the passenger side, so it's been in the gutter. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'm Lee, this is Retro Cars Reborn. I'm attempting to try and help you to restore, maintain and modify retro cars, whether it be classics, whether it be a little bit more modern, you know, 10, 20-year-old. Subscribe, comment, leave a like, leave a dislike if you really want to, and I shall see you in the next video.